Good morning, everyone. I'm Vani, and your moderator for today's webinar, Master Generative AI with AI Empower Consulting Services. A very warm welcome to start of our free webinar series. And thank you so much again for joining this Sunday morning. I understand this can be really hard. And before we begin, let's just discuss a little bit of our rules. And today we waited a little bit, but we would like to start our sessions promptly on time to respect everybody's time. And we'll keep our last 10 minutes reserved for our Q&A session. And we encourage you and request you to keep your cameras on for an interactive and enjoyable experience for learning and for discussions and to ask questions. We'll be using Slido that will share the link for that in the chat. So now let's take a look at the agenda. Firstly, our founder, Mani, she'll provide an introduction to an AI Empower and she'll share the origin story. And next we'll have a special guest speaker, Rohit Bhandari. Rohit is a phenomenal professional with over 20 years of experience in IT and having worked with major hedge funds, big banks, and consulting companies in the United States and Canada. He holds prestigious certifications in ML, Amazon, AWS, Snowflake, and many other cloud technologies. So are you ready now to navigate and thrive in the AI-driven world? Let's dive in. And without any further ado, let's invite Mani to get started. Mani, over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Vani, for joining us today and on this beautiful Sunday morning. First, I want to introduce a little bit about Vani. Vani is one of my old friends from US, and she's currently a digital marketing professional with extensive experience in digital strategies and with IT major companies there in US. And I'm glad she's here with me today. And just to get started, I was just waiting for a few more people, but it's okay. We should keep going. And thank you, Swastika, for your comment. I really appreciate for you for joining me today. So I just wanted to start with my small story, as many of you already know me. So I'll just quickly introduce myself. I am Mani Bhandari, and I'm really delighted to welcome you all for this special session. This is a new initiative which I have started just a few months back. So I recently moved to Canada. In fact, in 2020, I moved to Canada from US. And like all other professionals, everyone was struggling. I was also struggling with them to find a job and make connection on this new land. But I was fortunate. Sorry to interrupt you. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Echoing back.
There is a little bit.
Yes.
There's a little bit echo. So do you want to make sure that is there any other device close to you which is also in the meeting?
No, not
Maybe
really.
anyone who is not speaking can go on mute if there is echo coming from anywhere.
That would be great.
Okay, sorry for the interruption and thank you for your support. So as I was continuing with my experience, so I was also struggling to get a good connections and get my career started here. So fortunately I got connected with few NGOs here. Panorama India was the first one, and I have really gained a lot of experience working with highly professional people there, volunteering with them. And then I got connected with BMG Group also, where I got more insights and learnings from professionals working. So along with that, I was also enhancing my skills. I started a training program called Work Fairly Women in Technology from Career Foundation. And this was a boot camp that provided me with invaluable skills and insights into the world of technology and AI. Through this program, I learned the importance of prompt engineering and how it can be leveraged to create a specific target content for websites, trainings, and marketing materials. With this knowledge in hand, I applied the power of AI and prompt engineering to create our own website, which you might have gone through. And this is really compelling. It has really compelling content and some aspects of marketing as well. So these results are really impressive, and I was able to accomplish all this in just few days. Otherwise, it would have taken me months to do all these tasks. So then I was thinking, and then I thought that why not to share this experience with my friends? Why not to start sharing my knowledge, which I gained just with my all experience? So I decided to share my knowledge and experience by organizing these free webinar series and giving back to the society, because I have learned a lot from volunteering organizations. I wanted to give back to them, to society. So that is the way which gave me the idea of organizing and starting this startup. So for me, I was really I really believe in core values, which I started working on. First is innovation, then empowerment, and then integrity. So all these three aspects are the core values which I will be pursuing in future. And personally, I believe that AI is a continues to shape our future, and understanding prompt engineering and AI-driven tools will become an essential requirement. It is just like proficiency in Microsoft and Google tools. It has to be added on our resumes. And learning AI is not an opportunity to enhance your lifestyle and career, but it is a necessary skill now these days to stay ahead in the competitive world. So that is what we are precisely doing here. We will be organizing free webinars, and we have also 30 minutes free consulting facility for our audience here, and to general public, whomsoever you know, you can talk about that we are having free consultancy of 30 minutes. You can register there on our website. And yeah, this is a small startup, so nothing much to share. So today I wanted to invite among us Rohit Bhandari, who will be taking us further ahead to continue this session. He will give you insights how we can use prompt engineering for our day-to-day activities. If you have any questions, please feel free to send in the chat box, or we have other Trilo also. You can submit your questions there as well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, and let's go ahead. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Mani and Vani, to add the nice adjectives to my profile. Even though I'm still learning, I have been like a data professional throughout my career of about 20, more than 20 years, I would say. And I have been leading group of people on the AI initiatives on, major banks, which are hedge funds. And like Vani said, mostly in Canada and US. So what I wanted to do today was to give you insight on generative AI. So we will specifically target our school of thoughts toward generative AI, and we will try to see what we can gain coming from thinking about routine jobs that we do every day. And it could be a beneficial session for anybody who is even non-technical. We don't need to be technical really. Like, gone are the days when AI has to be, people who have PhD holders or mathematical geniuses would need to, reap the benefits of AI. It's no longer the case. So any one of us can now, do magical things by, doing simple, like what Mani said, prompt engineering, and, working with the models that are created by OpenAI and many other companies as well. So this is a good segue. I just wanted to first of all, let me share my screen. I know you guys won't be able to see it once. And let me know when my screen is visible. Is it visible now to anyone?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And guys, like, feel free to post questions on Slido, like Vani said. But if there's anything which is urgently holding you back and you want to push it forward, then put it on chat and keep giving me thumbs up so that I know, like, you're following, or my pace is, need to slow down or move fast or whatever. So feel free to, give those thumbs up so that I know what is happening, or thumbs down as well. So don't worry about thumbs down as well. And I will adjust my pace accordingly. So I wanted to start with, a funny chapter here. So I created this avatar of myself, again using AI, and what I did was I did a voiceover using, one of the Indian folk. It's not my voice though. Of course, you can do that. I don't want to go to that level and show you. But for now, it is just dash DID, which is a tool through which you can animate your photographs, not only just avatars, anything you can animate, and it will actually follow word by word what is happening. So let me have this guy. Are you able to? Over the last 20 years, I have focused on leveraging AI technologies solve real life.
Sorry, we cannot hear you, Rohit. We are not able to hear the screen that you are sharing.
Oh, you're not able to hear? Is it everybody who's
Yeah, we can't hear. There's a small checkbox that says share audio and then used by Chrome. You can use that option.
and funny part is, Milan, we tested everything yesterday. So IT sometimes beat us, right? Let me see if I am doing something wrong here. Otherwise, I'll let it go and maybe share it later
On the
as
chat or something.
as a link there because I don't want to hang on.
Okay, that
But you
audio
guys
is
can hear,
from,
but you guys can hear
yeah,
me, right? I mean, I'm
yeah, yeah,
I'm
we can
audible,
hear you
right?
very well.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, let's go with the slideshow then. I will not waste my time there. So this is the PPT that I wanted to share with you guys. This is Master Generative AI in Everyday Task. The reason why we gave it a name of Everyday Task is again, like I said, it is to help people with all walks of life and. Is again the Slido QR code and the link. I just wanted you people to know. This is again the same. I'll leave it for now. So going back to the agenda. So the plan is that we will start with an introduction. I would like to the very next thing that I want to cover after the introduction is limitation of these models because that's an important chapter that we need to understand while we start utilizing this to generate critical content for our websites for ourselves or whatever. Then we were going to cover the AI prompt engineering, why it's important. I'm trying to give some gestures on benefit for small business, new immigrants, and new immigrants, especially to Canada. Luckily, Shehzad, I think, knows that we earlier also, did a session which was on BMG Group, which is also phenomenal in terms of helping new immigrants to Canada with a lot of their needs. And we did a session for them. And I'm going to take some cue from there and show you guys a little bit of prompt engineering we did there as well. And then finally, we do a Q&A wrap up. This will not be a very high-end technical, session, not aimed for technical people, but we do have not we, I think Money do has some workshops which are aiming toward even programmers and engineers who would like to utilize, Chat GPT and generative AI for their programming needs as well. So all following through, right? Any questions so far? All good? Okay. So what is GPT? So, you might see a robot there with pulling his hairs because it's not something like it's something like you think about you drive a car, right? You have a Ferrari standing outside on your driveway. You drive that car, but do you even go down the hood and see what is inside that hood? So most of us don't, right? So we don't have to be paralyzed by the complexity of these models. But I just wanted to showcase you in a very high level what exactly is an analog to generative pre-trained transformer. That's what GPT stands for. And Chat GPT is nothing but a chatbot, a dialogue-based chatbot that actually, utilize text-based input and give you text-based outputs. Now, at a high level, generative pre-trained transformer, the word pre-trained itself means that this model has been pre-trained. That means it has learned with lot of textual inputs. What I know of as whatever updates given by OpenAI, they're about being trained with over I think 500 billion words of text that has been given and thrown to the model. And this is actually referred to as large language model. And what it does is, if you people think that it is a human sitting behind, like thinking like human sitting behind and giving you the responses back, that's not exactly how it works. It actually takes your inputs in form of tokens. Tokens is, think of it like, words in a way. It's like I think 3 characters long, you or 3.5 character long, you call it as a one token. And once you feed that token into GPT model, it actually looks at the context from that token. It looks at what you are trying to mean, and then it tries to generate the best predictable output word by word. So it is not really thinking per se, but it is rationalizing all the sensical, grammatical, semantical way of things that it has learned from whatever it has been trained on. So it has been trained on all the internet data so far. There are a lot of textbooks, and I know like you people might have, if you people are familiar with the news and all, you might have seen a lot of copyrighted issues that people are saying, oh, they took our training, data and trained it and then moved ahead. But anyway, to cut it short, I don't want to take all the time on, just explaining, chat GPT here, but eventually think of it more like a friend whom you can consult, but never ever think of it somebody you can just, say that, okay, I'm going to replace, say, my legal team with ChatGPT. That's not the way it's going to work. It's an augmentation tool. It's something that you can take help from and accelerate whatever you do. But in no way it is a replacement for any of the critical functions in your business, or even, if you do any critical function, it's not a replacement. So I wanted to make it very clear there to understand that difference in terms of what ChatGPT is and what it is not, right? Now, this is a segue into limitation of ChatGPT. There are number of limitations that we need to be aware of when we utilize it for multiple use cases, or for generating any critical data. So one of the major one is the training cutoff date is September 2021. Like I said, it is pre-trained, so it does not know anything beyond September 2021. OpenAI has not released a new model yet that is beyond September 2021. And think about it, like, you might say, oh, somebody in the corporate world might take a lead there and, maybe take this model and train it on data beyond 2021 and, produce it out. But it is very difficult. It's not only difficult, it's also very costly. OpenAI has spent about 100 million to train it with whatever data they have trained. And if they have to train it again, they have to spend another 100 million. So that's why the Chat GPT 4, the newer version of, sorry, I did not reveal about the version. So there is 3.5 and now there is 4, which is only for the paid subscribers. So GPT-4 itself is also bounded by the same limitation. It is also not beyond September 2021. I will give you some zest of how we can circumvent it. There are ways we can circumvent it, how we can train it little bit on our own data. Say, for an example, if Money decides later that, she want to train something on her own articles on AI Empower, we can do that. There are ways and means through which we can do that, but we will not be training the model itself. What we will be trying to do is giving some further context of our company for it to make certain assessment and decisions while producing those responses. Okay. Another aspect to look at is token limit. Token limit, you can, as a layman term, you can think of it like word limit, though these are not exactly the words. Because if you think about in computer world, and Milan might agree with me or Chavi might agree with me, is all about binary data, right? So ultimately everything boils down to 101010, and that's how uh, IT world, information world, or computers at the end understand everything. So tokens are a way of that, those numerical representations of those words. So there is a limit to what you can give as a context to the model in one go. I will talk about more about this once we start doing some hands-on part of it. Okay. Forget about the usage limit, but one more important thing is about hallucination. So one second, hallucinations, which is a term quoted for this model to hallucinate. And I want to quickly give you one example there. And I know Mani told me to make it very short, but I'll try to make it because it's a very fascinating one, because it can give you, what people have lost because of this hallucination. There was a case which happened in North America. It happened, I think, in US somewhere. There was a person who was traveling in an airline and he was hit by a trolley that was like taken by the host, the steward, and then he sued the airline. The airline went to a law firm and asked them to fight the case, which is very normal procedure. The lawyer in the law firm was utilizing ChatGPT, and they actually look for citation. Citation is a word used to look for earlier cases of similar origin and try to beef up their case when they're going to present it in the court of law. So he looked up through ChatGPT. ChatGPT gave him multiple cases that has happened earlier in past and gave him the name of the judges, the lawyer. It was so realistic. I mean, if you read about it, you will feel, oh my God, this is really what happened. And everything was like, according to how it is presented in the law. So when they went to the court, the judge looked at it, and that then just figured out, okay, I have never heard about this judge. Like, he seems to be very knowledgeable and all that. And when they dig down deep into it, they figured out that the lawyer actually had used ChatGPT for this purpose. He was actually barred from practice altogether, and it was a big case that happened, and it was a big learning session for a lot of people who were utilizing ChatGPT at that time. So that's why I said treat it like an augmentation tool. Don't treat it like a replacement to whatever you do. So whatever you generate out of ChatGPT, you should actually look at the accuracy of it, double check it, go back to maybe Google search, look at from a reflection of checking from some fact database, all those kind of things that you need to take care of as you do it on your own. Now this brings us, I'm sorry, I should have asked, like, any hard stop questions here that you want me to first answer on the limitation side. Anything, Vani, do we see anything on the chat that is boiling out?
Yeah, I was. There's a question. That has a very good question. That how would you get ChatGPT to customize your resume based on a job description? Can we still do that?
That's a fascinating one, and I'm going to cover that. I'm going to surely cover that, and it is part and parcel of what we're going to do in next few slides. But I think we're good with the limitations, though, right? We understand what the limitations are, and we are clear about. Is it a thumbs up? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Just there was one question related to this slide.
Okay, sorry.
That what will it make a difference to opt for a paid subscription versus free version?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. It's a valid question. See, free version, first of all, restrict you to GPT 3.5, which is a model which is behind GPT 4. Now, in terms of basic understanding and basic work that need to be done, it is good. I have not seen any too much of problems with 3.5, but GPT-4 is, I would not say like it is a sea change, but it provides a huge difference because it is actually, it has about, I think, OpenAI haven't even revealed how GPT-4 works, but the inside story is that it has about trillions of hyperparameters. Hyperparameter, think more of like tuning knobs, which actually rationalize and think through. So GPT-4 is more rational. If you give a riddle to maybe GPT 3.5, it might not be able to solve it, but GPT-4, most of the time what we have seen is able to resolve it. So depending on if you are on the free version, if you are not doing too rational, like too much of a rational work, of course, I'm sorry, I should not say that everybody does rational work. What I'm trying to say is where you don't have to have those riddles answered and there's a lot of complexity, because ultimately you are paying $20, 20 US dollars. I think in Canadian terms might come out to 25, 28 something. So, but if you are a small business and you can shell out those many dollars, I would encourage you to do that, because a lot of blog generation, a lot of articles that I generated, I had to do much less work when GPT-4 was involved, even for code, creation as well. So again, if you are a startup and you don't want, or not even a startup, if you're an individual, a student or whatever, and you don't have a way and means of, spending those $20 per month, then maybe just stick with 3.5. And if you see that 3.5 is not able to solve those purposes, then look at the GPT-4 model. And other restriction, which is a big one between 3.5 and 4, between paid versus non-paid, is the plugins. Now, plugins are very important. Plugins actually gives you a lot of cool stuff. It's like, your iPhone Play Store, or Google Play Store or iPhone Store, wherein you can go and play with the apps that are already there. So similarly, there are plugins that are created. Like say, for an example, you are trying to create a recipe with items that are available in your fridge or refrigerator. So you would just take, text input to the plugin. It will actually go to Instagram, order those stuff, or maybe, try to give you a recipe with one of those plugins. So those are just one simple example. And recently, OpenAI came up with a very nice plugin, which is Code Interpreter. I don't know whether you people have heard about it, but that plugin is a sea changer in my, my understanding of, looking at how AI is shaping the world. Because earlier, think about like we were talking about AI replacing jobs, especially with programmers and things like that. But whenever you produce a code out of ChatGPT, you might see like it is failing, it is not having all the responses correctly and all that. But with this code interpreter, you can actually, ask him to create Python code and other code, and it will actually test it out there and give you the results. And it can actually replace data analyst, business, not exactly business analyst, but at least data analyst from those perspective. Okay. I think these are the major differences that I can think of as of now. But yeah, I will, based on this, I will jump on to next slide. I know I'm running out of time. Vani, how we are doing on time? I'm sorry if I'm taking too much.
I think we're good.
Okay. And
It was
sorry, whomsoever asked that question, does it give you a zest of it? If not, I will probably give you more context later after we are done with the session.
And for everybody's benefit, Mani has already shared the Slido's link in the chat. So if you have any questions further, please don't hesitate to place your questions in that link. Thank you. Rohit, please continue. Thank you.
Okay. So what I wanted to show you next is prompt engineering. So which has become a world in itself. I even heard prompt engineers as of now even are getting 300K salaries nowadays. I don't know how far it's going to go, but I see a lot of value with prompt engineering, especially when it comes to layman people like, like us who are trying from everyday walk of life, trying to do things and try to, achieve our goals. How exactly what exactly prompt engineering means? So prompt is nothing but like what you input to the chat GPT. And I'm sorry if I should first actually show you maybe how the interface looks like. So this is the normal interface. If you go to chat.openai.com, you would be able to see an interface like this. Not exactly like this because I am a Plus subscriber. So you might see something different here. You might not see maybe the top one or the panel here, but everything like the prompt wise, you will actually see the similar message box and you should be able to enter the prompts. This is what I meant when I say prompts. Okay? Now, engineering of prompt means that you would like to give input in such a way that you can get the juice out of GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 model. Now, what are the ways and means? So there is a complete guide that actually talks about various aspects of prompts. It talks about prompt priming. Priming is like you are actually raiding the engine, like giving some pre-data to the engine to be ready about giving you responses. That's one way. Then you can also look at some general prompt framework. So this is important because I think I don't want to waste time in not exactly waste time, but I don't have time to cover all of these as of now. But I just wanted to give you the 8 number, which is a general prompt framework, which actually could help a lot of us out here. Let me take you quickly to. It's a big guide actually, and please don't take me wrong. I want to give the due credit to the people who created this. It's Banza Mamam. So he's the person who created this guide. It's not me. And he has also, I think he runs even a YouTube course. So feel free if you guys want to, do it at length and understand it. But at a basic level, RGC prompting is nowadays making waves because this framework is really helping everyone. So what it tries to do is it actually it actually produces a prompt formula. So what it says is try to give a role, what kind of result you are looking at, what is your goal when you're giving this prompt, and what context are you working on, what are the constraints. As an example, so you can say that to take a role of expert marketer or take a role of HR specialist with 20 years of experience. So you can actually make chat GPT take any of the personas you want it to take, and it again depends on the industry you are in. If you're coming out say from a medical industry, you might want it to act like a doctor. If you want to coming from automobile industry, you want to take some role from there, and then you can ask about the desired output. You can say that okay, create a tabular format, or maybe like in this case 5 emails with call to action. The goal is to drive sales of my product. What exactly is the goal that I'm trying to give you? What are the context? Who, what, where, why? And if I'm correct, Mani, you do have a workshop that you are running with this, right? Like something giving on AI prompting as well.
Yes, yes.
That can be taken up as well. And then there are constraints. The email should be friendly and less than. So friendly is like a tone. You want to give the tone to the chat GPT that, I want it to be friendly. I want it to be professional. Like, Shehzad was giving an example of a resume. Let me see. I should have it handy here because I think I did it in the last session as well. And you can even organize your, chats with these folders. This is again a Chrome extension that you can utilize to get these folders out. And job search, interview prep. I think one of these I did had done that. So like here, if you see, as an experienced professional consultant, guide me regarding job search in Canada. I'm a new immigrant and I have 2 years of known Canadian experience. Provide me a roadmap of how should I approach Canadian job market. And if you see, like, I think it did a decent job. It did a very decent job of giving me, how you can, like, if you are a new immigrant, how you can move forward, assessing your skill and qualification. Try to do networking, which is very important in Canada, by the way. Tailor your resume and cover letter. I think tailor is not a very good word because people can raise objections to it. Like, you should not just copy paste from any existing CV and just try to pretend that it is you. So do your due diligence. So whatever ChatGPT says, again, put your lens of due diligence on top of it. Now, I think I did another exercise wherein I actually took a job description. Let me see if I have it handy here. Otherwise, I can give you that prompt. I'll send it later to you guys. Let me see if I have it handy there. So, doctor, small business, CV and domain selection, job search roadmap, interview prep. See, yeah, this is one. So this one, if you see what I did, and I will just rush through it. I know I'm hell bent on time here. So first of all, I gave the CV to the ChatGPT prompt. I just entered the CV here, and it created like the formatting of the CV and all that. And later, somewhere down the line, I asked him to, see, as a professional, I would like to tailor my CV. Again, I use the word tailor, but whatever it produces, please put your due diligence on top of it. Ensure that keywords from the JD are used in the summary and skill section. Support job seekers. And this is where, the JD starts. And once you enter the JD, it already has the context of your CV. It will actually give you an output with those keywords in. And then it will even, you can always say that, okay, I want to, maybe compact the CV little bit because sometimes, there is a saying that you only need to have 1 page CV, don't make 5 page CV, things like that. So if it becomes very big, it can even do the summarization for you, keeping those keywords on, which is very important. See, I told him now, please take the whole CV and fit it into 1 page. So these are the things that, you can actually get it done. And in case you don't want ChatGPT to tailor it, you can ask for like what keyword should be added to summary section of my CV so it gets shortlisted for sure. So it already has the context of the job description. It already knows, what your CV is, and it will then tell you that, at least these are the keywords that, you should have. And the reason why it is saying that is because nowadays, most of the big firms, they have automated way of screening CVs so that there's no human looking at your CV per se. So what is happening is it enters a automation system. Automation system looks for these keywords. If it finds the keywords, good. It shortlisted. If it doesn't, it just throw it out. So this could be a channel in which, you can actually, and to all my friends who are new to Canada or even US for that matter, I'm sorry, I'm always saying Canada, but it is useful for India, whatever, any country for that matter. If you find your CV is not even getting shortlisted, try to utilize this prompt and see if they can add value to your job search. Sure, Shera, does it answer your question? Like, I'm sorry if I'm digressing from what the question was. Or give me a thumbs up if it is good. If you're still there, by the way. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I left his head. Okay. Anyways. Oh, I got it. Thanks, Shiraz. Thanks. Now, moving on. So for small businesses, what we can do, right? What I wanted to show for the small businesses, because given the fact that when we are in a startup mode, like website is a very good example that Money was giving earlier. And Money, if I'm correct, I think what you did with this website is you just generated the content with the chat GPT, right? You give your due diligence, you try to put the right prompt to juice out how the website content should look like, what kind of services you should offer to make a mark in the market. And also you did some SEO, which is search engine optimization, figuring out what keywords need to be used on the website.
Yes.
But ChatGPT even can go beyond that. So for an example, you can actually ask ChatGPT. For an example, say you like Airbnb site very. And again, I'm gonna cover. I have a slide for copyright. Anybody who is raising eyebrows as of now. So I have a copyright slide. I'm going to talk about that as well. But if you mention a prompt, something like, as inspired by Airbnb site, can you create a landing page, a one single page for me on my local PC and things like that. It will actually create, and you have to give like, maybe you can give like, on a React JS and, using style sheets. And I know maybe there are programmers who might understand what I'm trying to say, but people who are known programmers, leave it. Like you don't have to get into that mess. But if you have little bit of programming bent and you understand little bit of, how things move around, like if else logic and simple things like that, you can actually create your website from scratch. You don't even just have to look at the content. You don't have to go to any provider to create this website, and that can all be done in the vicinity of your local PC without any special programmer working for you. It is achievable. I'm not going to show it here because it will eat up all my time, but that's one way. Small businesses who are not even having websites can help from. Otherwise, they can go money's route, create the content, pass it on to a Wix or maybe Strikingly or any such website, and generate a new website altogether from there. That is one way. Second is a lot of people who come to me and ask me questions about how to generate leads. My business is doing this. Now I want to take it a step further. I want to add more people. I want to get more customers and those kind of things. So there also ChatGPT can help you a lot. Say, for an example, you want to create advertising. You might want to create YouTube channels. You might want to post every day on LinkedIn. You might want to, use social media channels like Instagram or whatever, and want to showcase what all, your firm has to offer. So ChatGPT can actually help there as well. It can actually help you create those marketing ads, blogs. And for that reason, I think I have something here which actually can be beneficial. So this is like called Great AI Prompts. It is a website which has 110 prompts, and it actually bifurcate or like segregate its prompt based on whether you are a marketer or whatever. So I would like you to go through this website as well. It's a free website where you can just get hooked up to these prompts and see if these prompts actually give you the outcome that you're looking for. But of course, you have to add your brand tone. You have to give your context also to the chat GPT once it is generating. There are also other tools in the market. There is something referred to as, I think, copy AI, something, copy.ai. Yeah. If you don't have time and energy to do all that, you can actually sign up on Google, get a free account. Of course, see all of these tools that are out there in the market, be it Mid-Journey, be it, Runway ML, all those various tools that are out in the market producing images, producing videos. Everybody has a business to run, right? So nobody's going to give you things for free. They might give you a free account with some limitations, and then once you get hooked up to it, they try to charge you and things like that. So but you have to really figure out the balance, like are you getting value out of what you're spending? So copy AI is a very robust tool. There is another tool called Jasper, which is also very robust. I think that is good for you to spend your pennies on, because it is actually going to give you better results if you spend money there and you are not into like too much of prompt engineering and things like that. It will actually take your brand tone and generate output from that brand tone, and it will make it sound like you are producing it. So it will actually give those what do you call special context about your firm, about how you write your articles. So you have to feed in all this information, and then it actually tries to create a copy and tries to make sure that whatever new blogs have been written is actually being coherent to what your brand is saying. So this could be an easy way to safeguard yourself from copyright issues and all those. But if you really want to use Chat GPT for that matter, you have to go through a little bit of prompt engineering, go through creation of those blogs and articles. You should actually create weekly posts to enhance your customer base. And you can even ask ChatGPT that, what should I be doing, taking my customer base from these many people to the next level. Then the third thing that, maybe I should open the presentation as well, because I think I quoted some benefits there for you guys and I left it in the limbo. Yeah. So you can even, start by creating unique business ideas. This I already covered. Customer service, you can actually personalize responses for the customers. I'm going to show you one such example, which Money did recently for her website. And, even support social media management by generating captions, content ideas, optimizing content for SEO by identifying relevant keywords. So SEO is like, very important to, like, if you go to Google, you're not gonna, if you don't see your page in the top ranks, what are the ways and means by which you can do that? One is through some keywording and all that. Others are through, it will even give you some tips and tricks of how to make your website stand out in comparison to other when you do Google search and other. But yeah, this was what I wanted to showcase. Let me see if I can give you a real example here. So this is one thing I covered. Like I was just asking him, reading through some blogs, existing blogs, and giving me some output. That was one way. Then there was another thing. Let me see if I have it here. Okay, not this one. Sorry about that, guy. So when you're giving a live demo, you always have to be ready with, the demo god should be with you to give you that output. But this is one thing I wanted to show you. This is the cool tool that I was talking about, which is Code Interpreter. And unfortunately, it is only available on ChatGPT Plus. But if you are taking that leap forward of, moving ahead with the ChatGPT Plus, then this tool is going to benefit you a lot if you're a small business. I'll give you one example very quickly. So here is a data set. Okay, so data set, I'm just taking an example data set. Say you have a sales report, right? So you're running a small business and you happen to have a sales report. Let me open it. I'm sorry, I should have made it ready for you guys. Okay, so if you see, this is the day by day. Sorry, there are just a four or five columns that are out there. Okay, and what it's trying to say is day one, this is the product that has been sold in this region and at this salesperson, which is most likely, you can comprehend it to the business that you guys are running. And right now, if you were to hire a data analyst, and again, I'm taking it a very simple example, right? It is just a few rows out here. But, when you talk about a firm or a big, maybe even if you're a small business and you're doing daily operations, you might see data to be too large, right? And you might have to keep a data analyst or maybe some form of junior resource or whatever to really gauge through and tell you what is happening, what is going on with my data, where should I focus. So now with this new tool, which is the plugin, which is the interpreter plugin, you can actually feed in the file itself. So I can actually tell him to input this file directly. I don't have to prompt it. That's why it's not like under the limitation of the number of characters that prompt has. So it is actually beyond that. So you can actually upload files directly to it, and it need not be CSV. It could also be photos. It could also be PDFs. Whatever you want to, give ChatGPT model, a file, you can actually do via this mean. And this interpreter is created by OpenAI. It's not like a third party code that is out there. And OpenAI has created their own VMs. VM is like, think of it like virtual machines, which are machines where everything actually happens, like your laptops or computers. So actually this get into a laptop and then see, I didn't even prompted it. It actually looked at the file and told me, okay, these are the number of columns and this is the data dictionary. Data dictionary means what each column looks like. Okay, it automatically figures out. And see, the next thing it automatically figures out that sales column is actually a text. It's not a numeric. And like I said earlier, computer understand numerics better, right? It is faster to do. And of course, if it is a dollar value and cost or something, then it can do much more work if it is in numeric format. So it automatically takes a liberty and says that I am converting it into numeric format and this is what it looks like end of the day. And then I told him as a professional, see, now I'm giving him just a very simple prompt. I'm not even asking too much from here. I'm saying as a professional data analyst, run analysis and visualization on same looking at data, tell me what are actionable insight. Actionable insight is a term given to the fact that, see, data is one thing, right? Everybody, you might have a lot of data. I might have a lot of data. If you're Gmail, you look at your lot of data, right? But you're not getting any insight out of it. You're not getting what to do with the data, right? So actionable insight is looking at the data and telling you what you can do next to improve your business or maybe improve yourself if you have data for yourself, whatever that may be. And then it actually start right away and perform this analysis. It performs total and average sale by product, and then it start giving me meaningful results. It says that if I do sales by product, gummy dolphin is the most sold product that you have. Dracula next, beer next. So you can actually look at, like, if you are a CEO or maybe an operational head, you can look at that data and say that, okay, boss, something wrong with my, gummy beers. They are not selling that much. What are the regions which are not selling that much? What should I do about it? Who is the salesperson who is not able to, perform? Again, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be against the person, but what I'm trying to say, this is what corporate heads do actually. If you think, like, if all of us employees are actually have data for them as well. So we are treated like resources. We are looked at as resources and being seen. Are we outperforming others or not? So there's a comparison rank right away done by ChatGPT. Mani, I see you raised a hand. Is there a question that you have? Mani, I can't hear you. You are on mute.
Oh, sorry. So actually, we are already at 11:30. So we have
Oh, I'm
already.
sorry. I'm sorry. So is it okay we extend by 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I'll just take 5 more minutes and try to wrap it up quickly. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And sorry about when you become passionate about something, you talk about it, you don't, you don't really know how to concise and box it. It's a time management that I need to learn. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you, like, these are all the cool things that you can do. Again, from PPT perspective, let me quickly show you. I even have, so we already covered, so education services, Canadian immigration, I think we already covered. So from education services perspective, students could be another, other group of personas that can be helped by ChatGPT. Of course, there's a lot of debate about, they should not copy assignment, they should not do that, do this. But think about the beneficial side of it as well. There are a lot of times when, students are out there who have, been working in, been maybe in the university or in school or high school, are lagging behind because teacher pace is very, very fast, or maybe slow for that matter, and they're getting bored. So ChatGPT can act as a private tutor. You can actually upload assignments. You can actually ask them to maybe create assignments. We don't want to promote cheating here. What we want to promote is that people can challenge themselves at their own pace by going through, their assignments and looking at, whatever is going on. I think a lot of educational, I recently read on YouTube, no, sorry, recently seen on YouTube, there's a China school in which they started using AI based curriculum altogether. So it is going to be the new normal, whether we like it or not. Students are going to get access to all this. So maybe teach them right now how to get facilitation from it. And I think there is a workshop that even Money has for that as well. Apart from that, I think I just wanted to talk quickly about the copyright. That's the last thing I will cover for sure. I know you guys must be getting bored now. So that's the last thing I'm going to cover very quickly. So copyright implication is becoming the gravity is rising on copyright implications. You might have seen a lot of cases that have come up. Even recently, there is I think Federal Trade Union which has filed a case against OpenAI itself because they were training the data on they're taking some copyrighted data and training their models on it. Now it is not yet proved. It's just a case. There are a lot of politicization of what's going to happen next. So what I think is, as of now, as a layman or people like us who are generating content and all that, the way to, be away from all this copyright issue. First of all, if you are a very small company, you don't have to worry. Nobody's going to come and sue your small company. I mean, again, take it with pinch of salt. But what you should be aware of is that don't try to copy anything directly via ChatGPT. First, pay attention to what you get as a content out of ChatGPT. Look at the accuracies. That is one thing. Second is get inspired by it. Maybe the way to do is if you are, say, a content writer in your organization, if you are a content writer, try to give the outline content yourself. Create that outline content yourself. Don't just go to ChatGPT and say that, okay, create that outline for me. Try to create that outline, maybe record yourself in a gibberish way, take the transcript, pass it back to ChatGPT, and tell him to professionalize the content that you just gave to him, and it will actually create a very good, bright, professional content and blog out of that and give it to you. I think that is a better way of just copying anything directly. That is one thing. Second is always build. If you are a small business, you should always build some sort of contracts in a way that you are open about all these AI frameworks that you're using. Don't let your end clients, like say in the case of lawyer, right? He did not even put anything. He didn't even let anybody know that he was using ChatGPT and just going with his daily business when it was a law firm. But for us, if you're a small business, try to make sure that you are putting that in the contract and opening about it, that we facilitate our content with ChatGPT, and we don't just take it as it is. We always look for accuracies and things like that, so that your end consumers know and they can trust you more than just all of a sudden finding any intellectual property right being violated and things like that. And again, one more thing for the content writer, I gave an example. If you are in an organization, abide by the organization policies for sure. If your organization permit use of generative AI, go for it. But if they have a policy which is strictly against generative AI and its tools and technologies, I would rather say be refrain from it, because this is another thing I wanted to show you very quickly, because there are tools and ways by which you can figure out whether an article is written by a human or an AI, and AI actually do that detection, and you can yourself do it. Like if you take an output from ChatGPT and put it into this GPT-0, it will tell you what most likely is the origin of this blog. So, I mean, yeah, this was just to give you guys an idea of, what the copyright is. I'll take a stop here and, let people ask any last minute questions if they have.
Yeah, hi Rohit, Ila here. I have a question.
Yeah, Eli, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How about yourself? It's a great presentation. Thank you. I joined in late. I missed most of it, but I'll ask for a recording if possible. My
Yeah,
question
sure.
is around that. Yeah, my question is actually around that. Caveat that you suggested should be mentioned while contracting. Because you many a times we actually use a lot of open sources, like Google is a open source, so is OpenAI. Okay, so why specifically for AI or chat GPT that we need to mention and not for the other platforms, because open sources are so many.
Yeah, so let me again, it's not a correction per se, but OpenAI though call itself a open source, but it is actually becoming a for-profit organization now. That's one thing. And when you use open source, there is something called as GPL license, right? So if I'm going with a Python library that is out there, generally there are terms and conditions with this open sources also. They generally state that if you are utilizing a code from an open source library, you have to mention and credit the people who have created that open source code. As long as you credit them, you are fine. But if you're not crediting them, then you are actually, digressing from what was the real implication.
Yeah,
Or
that's why I
yeah,
that's why I completely understand. But yeah, I understand what you're trying to convey. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So OpenAI, I think, is still, under the infringement and a lot of cases right now. There's no
Yes.
conclusion of those cases yet. Maybe we
Yes.
will see how the ball rolls in near future and modify our contract accordingly. But if you are a very small business right now, not worried too much about it, and you are getting, like, you are doing your due diligence of all the data that is generated and making sure that it is not, you are not like copying anything blindly, then you are fine, I guess, for now. So there's nothing to really be worried about as of now.
Sure. There's a lot of question on the way the data is being handled, by Chat GPT platform. So that is, of course, one of the
Yeah,
thing which
that's a
is
very good point, Ilya, because I forgot to talk about limitation, because ultimately the reason why organizations have policies against it nowadays is because people are copying, pasting everything. So it could be PII data, right? Your personal identifiable information. So you should not enter any credit card information. You should not enter anything which is related directly, maybe directly related to you as such. Because what happens is, even though OpenAI says that it is not going to utilize this data for whatever purposes, but so does Google say, so does other companies says. But we have seen what are the end results of all of them. So ideally, what I would suggest is, if you have a personal data, never ever input it. Put it as an example or something, and then get the result and modify it later. Is what the context out. But I think, Ila, that was a very good point. Sorry I missed it earlier.
It's okay. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are many times lousy about the company information also. So I think that's where they need to put the caveat apart from just the PII, I feel.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Because even in say our firm, like I am part of multi-country, a multinational firm, and they have actually created their own version of ChatGPT. They call it PSGPT. But like I said earlier, even the PSGPT is eventually using GPT-4 model or GPT 3.5 model. But the way it is using is different than how we use it. Because generally, what we do is we actually have our username, password, or maybe a public key created and a private key created through which we go to the API and fetch data. But what firms, the bigger firms, are doing to circumvent this is actually they are going via Azure service, which is nothing but Microsoft layer, Microsoft Cloud. They actually have a tie-up with Microsoft Cloud, and the data is routed via Microsoft Cloud to OpenAI. And because there is a big tie-up between OpenAI and Microsoft, the models are not, the data is actually not going to OpenAI in any way or form. It is directly going to that model, and they give you the surety that there will be zero copy of this data. Like, they will never ever keep the data. It will, after the session goes away, the data will be eliminated altogether, and it's put in the contract. So that's how bigger firms are giving us this special chats of their own, which actually does the same kind of things which ChatGPT does.
Interesting. Thank you for that insight.
Yeah. But it's I think it's a big world. It's taking shape and form now. We will, I think, reap a lot of benefits as we move along. I think there is a new model also, which is Anthropic Cloud, which is actually said to be better than ChatGPT. So who knows how things gonna move when the competition comes in? We might see better results as well. But anyway, I know I'm totally out of time and money. I'm so sorry. I just kept on going. I take a pause here, and let us see if there's any other thing or any other question you want to cover.
Thank you so much, Rohit. It was a very, very, very enlightening session. And for everybody's benefit, I'll let everybody know that we have taken up all the questions, and we're going to make sure that we respond to all questions in the Slido. So whatever questions we have in our chat, we're going to certainly respond to those. So Rohit, want to cover those right now, or we want to respond in the Slido?
I think I don't know, are people okay to extend a minute, and we can see what is the most voted question? We can open that and just answer that, maybe one question or two question max. Because I know it is Sunday, people have their family time, and I don't want to take it away. So let's answer one question at least from that Slido. So do you have the Slido open, or do you want me to share? Maybe I can share. Wait 1 second.
I have taken a note here personally. So there's one question that stands out. That is, do you have a list of plugins and their use for small businesses owners that you recommend? So I guess that is already covered. But if you have anything in detail, more details on that, I guess we can provide that.
Yeah, actually, I have multiple lists that I wanted to show you, but because of the time constraint, see, there is one thing called as AI tool. I have created this list as well. One sec. So if you see this AI tool, it actually gives you this whole list. Actually gives. Are you able to see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So these are all the list of tools that you people can play around with, and it actually even gives you a description of what each tool does. And I would really recommend Jasper. It's a great tool to, for AI writing. And then if you are looking for social media bots, you can look at those tools, website funnel builder. And I mean, these are the categories of tools that, you can utilize. I think somewhere in the future, Money is planning to put this tool as a list in her website. So you people can directly access it from there. We will share the link with you guys as well. So you can actually look at it. The other question, the plugins, right? The plugins part, I will say that I haven't created that list, but I can. But if you go to like Chat GPT itself, it actually gives the popular plugin. I can show you that one second. But you again need a Plus account for that. And actually, sorry, I'm not even. But anyway, it actually gives you those, account. Like if you go to the plugin store, there is a popular, right? You see this popular. So these popular ones are sorry, it's still loading, but these popular ones are the one which are like trending nowadays. And then you can always look at new as well and play around, because these tools are getting added so often. It's difficult to keep track of it. Even if I give you a list now, I think after a couple of days or weeks, it will be all modified. So I think it's just about you trying to play around with things and moving along. I hope I answered the question. Sorry if I digress a lot. I sway around. So
Who
sorry
doesn't?
about that.
So there is another question for data security. So I guess we have already taken up that in detail. So thank you so much. And I'll place again the questions in the Slido. So if there is anything else that you want to give details on, so please, we would all be benefited by that. But thank you so much.